The previous episode saw all 5 Harare Eagles come out to give their judgments. We had some highs and some lows, and some pretty embarrassing moments. Today we're back again in the city of kings and queens. Let's see what they got for us.
Hello,
Hi, how are you?
what's your name?
I'm Fortunate Mandijiza.
Okay, Fortunate, you can go ahead with your pitch.
Thank you. We don't just sell cakes, we sell memories. Grab a cake from us and we'll give you something to sing about. I'm Fortunate Mandijiza, the founder of Chelsea Cakes. We noticed how difficult it was to get a quality bakery that would provide constantly a great tasting product. And hence, we are the solution to our target market. The demographic and psychographic composition of those who consume baked goods cannot be restricted because it is huge. It cannot be restricted by gender, ethnicity, class, because it cuts right across. Cakes and snacks almost show up anytime there's a celebration. From March to October, on average, we have about 38 orders giving us a revenue of about $707. And with much more exposure, our company is set to gain 19% in revenue. And with our target market across the borders, our company can make approximately $5,700 a month in Ethiopia and $2,600 a month in Ghana. So we would want Chelsea Cakes to be present in those countries, especially at functions where most of the Zimbabweans would attend, by having agents in those countries. And the countries are mainly South Africa, United Kingdom, United States, Canada, New Zealand, Australia.
I'm looking at the name of your company, Chelsea Cakes. Can you tell us, why did you choose that name?
My daughter is called Chelsea, so I chose to name it after her because I'm building a legacy for her.
Nice. And here I have chicken, potato wedges, and some salad. How does this relate with Chelsea Cakes?
Okay, so us as a company, we have grown and diversified. We've seen a hit as from August this year when we had to incorporate the snack part of people's celebrations, because people would come and they want cakes, and then they are asking you if you also provide the same service of the snacks. And it's something we're just doing in low quantities, but we decided to really fully incorporate together. We offer you the cake and the snacks together. So even in our revenue, it peaked from August when we started including the snacks.
Fortunate, your setup in Ethiopia, Ghana, is it a franchise setup or you want to be running them? And what is the kind of investment if you're setting up there?
It's a franchise per se, and with the 3 countries I've mentioned, as far as the investment is concerned, they have not set, from my research, there's no set platform to say start with this particular investment in the country. Like for instance, in Ghana, it's the easiest, and they offer straightforward procedures and even offer you free document.
in your plan,
Yes.
how much would it be to set up there?
Unfortunately, I had not done the cost of how much it cost me to set up there, because it's I want to set up as franchises, so I'd not gotten to that information.
Do you think you can get the people to take up the franchises there?
Yes.
Are you able to mass produce these things without compromising on quality?
With the correct infrastructure and everything, yes.
Fortunate seems like she is in charge, but does she have the Eagles on board?
How's your market here in Bulawayo? Let's start with Bulawayo and your competitors here in Bulawayo.
With the competitors in my market here in Bulawayo, it's a bit stiff, the competition, because there are quite a number of bakers now. But I do have quite a market, like for example, September, we had about 66 orders coming through in September, compared to when we started doing bookkeeping in March, we had about 30.
Are 66 local orders enough for one to say they have exhausted the local market and ready for export? What is on Thamsanqa's mind?
Personally, I think I'll say you haven't developed enough even locally, for you to be able to manage an export location. I'm not getting clearly what is your product proposition. What's unique about your product for you to go and sell in an export market? It's not coming out. So for me, I do not see how your export potential at the moment. So for me, to be a no.
What a bummer. And here I was thinking Fortunate's pitch is better than some of the pitches we've seen here.
Okay, so I'm excited about the passion that you exude. Even when you're talking about your product, you can tell that you are really in sync with your business. I like the fact that you have done some research. I like the fact that you are a learning organization. My advice to you would be to leverage on outsourcing, especially on the bookkeeping side. You want to have your figures in check.
Yes.
I'll give you a yes.
Thank you.
Fortunate. For me, the cupcake that I tasted and the biscuits I'm seeing, to be very honest, it's similar to what I taste every day. I must be very, very honest with you. I don't see anything different with your product to what I have eaten before. I think it's good that you've got the passion. Big up to women in business, and I wish you the best of luck, but for me it's a no.
Thank you.
I think basically we're saying go and develop yourself in the local market, then come next year and then we can see where you'll be, and then you give us better figures, because you only gave us figures for August, so it's difficult for us to make a decision on that. And as Mr. Kanimazonda has said, the cakes that you're giving us for now, we're not sure whether they can do well in an export market if they cannot do that well now. So you need to grow that in that business, and next year come back and show us what you have done, so then we can then see from there what you have learned and what's the way forward.
With nothing different, nothing new, and nothing to look forward, it's goodbye to Fortunate. The past few contestants have brought nothing new or exciting to the table, and the agitation is clearly catching up with the Eagles. Will Tinashe bring us a breath of fresh air?
My name is Tinashe Mugabe. I'm the founder of Ebeold Investments, trading as Ebeold. Ebeold Investments is a company which is registered and operating in Zimbabwe. We are into herbal medicines and health services. Our products include herbal capsules, herbal powders, herbal teas, creams and lotions, and we have soaps. Our market is, we are not only limited to a specific group of people, but we have a variety of people who are interested in our products.
Calm down, Tinashe, and breathe. We've had worse and less confident presentations.
Well, it includes those people who are living in the areas we are operating in, which are households, sportsmen and women, research institutes, health shops, and government institutions as well. We use various methods of reaching out to our markets. We use social media, this website, Facebook, Twitter. Then we use word of mouth. We also use, we distribute flyers. We have seen a steady increase in our customer base, which has also contributed to our revenue. Since with the inception of the project in 2017, we have managed to record a 20% increase in revenue. That was in 2018, then 23% in 2019, and we are yet to figure out how much we have made so far.
Not bad, Tinashe. But the Eagles have seen it all, and it takes a lot more to convince them now. But like we always say, there's no telling the outcome with the Eagles.
Okay, Tinashe, in an era where everyone is talking herbal, how different are you? How different are these products from the ones that are already in the market?
The difference is that we listen to our customers. So we try to make products according to what the customers request for. So we, unlike other companies which just produce something and they say, okay, we are selling this. We have done the research and we have questioned and we have observed over time what our customer needs.
Is it registered? You've been cleared by the pharmaceutical. Is it registered?
We are registered and licensed by the Traditional Medical Practitioners Act.
Tinashe, are you the owner of this business?
Yes, I am.
How many are you in your team or your management team?
In the management team, we are 4.
In terms of when you started the business in 2017, what was your starting capital?
We started 2017. That's when we finally kicked off to the market. But we have been operating as a home-based before, a home-based enterprise. We invested 3,000 US.
To start off with?
Yes.
All right. And turnover in 2017, yearly turnover, what were we looking at?
We started in September. So
2017.
Our annual revenue, that was from September 2017 to September 2018. The annual revenue was 23,000.
Okay, until September 2018.
Yeah.
Was 23,000.
Yes.
In terms of your gross margins, your profit margins?
Yeah. What happened is we like so much has been put into packaging, and we were also trying to fix our laboratory. So in that year, we didn't record much of profit. So our profit it was 6.3 for that annual.
2018.
Revenue. Yes.
End of 2018.
Yes.
All right, you spoke about registration and certification in Zimbabwe with the traditional
medical practitioners.
Medical practitioners.
Cancer, yes.
In terms of export into other regions, South Africa or even Europe.
Yeah.
What are the requirements from them? Have you researched on that?
They have the same board in that, but once we have registered here in Zimbabwe, and we have an advantage because our company belongs to one of the association which is based in South Africa. So these guys, they wanted us to supply raw materials. Then we said, no, we can't supply you with raw materials, but we would rather make the product here, then we export the product.
I'm not convinced. There are a lot of players in the herbal field, and it's not my forte. So for me, it's a no from me. But I wish you the best of luck.
Thank you.
Tinashe, I'll be very honest with you. I like the fact that you are going herbal. I mean, this is the future. Everybody wants to move away from the toxins and get into what you're doing. So first of all, I want to congratulate you and say you're onto something. However, I am not convinced about your value proposition. Like your unique selling point, it's not enough for you to say that you listen to your customers. That is what sets you apart. I mean, in an era where everyone is talking herbal and everyone is doing this, surely you must have something. You must give a promise to the market to say, if you buy Cofex, this is my promise to you. I mean, it must be something that is convincing. You don't want people buying out of curiosity or out of pity. You want to retain customers. You don't want just customers just buying one thing. And another thing, I'm not convinced when you now start to say you are using your hunch, your gut feeling when you're doing the mixing. You need to go back to the drawing board, do some research, get the quantities, know how many percent of this, because if we're going to the export market, surely they're going to interrogate that. And like I said, you're onto something big, but for now it's a no for me.
Oh no, 2 no's for Tinashe. Tubelihle has just destroyed the remaining hope of making it to the next round for Tinashe.
I have the same feeling too. I know a lot of players in the herbal who manufacture herbal products who have, because of the way they manufacture, it's not scientific. They are failing to register with the main association, and if you can then refine your product, register with the main association, I think of pharmaceutical products, I think that will enable you to export. I don't think you can export something where you don't know what quantities of what are there and how you consistently make sure that every product does not have an overdose. I don't think you can export that completely. That's why I think where you wanted to export, they just wanted the ingredients, because I don't think a product like this can be accepted to cross the border. So I think we need to go back, fix all your manufacturing process, make sure that it's a certified one by the pharmaceutical, then probably next year you can then take off. I just think it needs patience. Instead of you rushing, let's be patient, work on how we can fix our manufacturing instead of making one handful of ginger and so much of parsley. Know what quantities in the parsley we want and measure it before we put it into our grams. If you want 2 grams of parsley, we know what is the composition of that parsley and measure it to make sure it's consistent. Things like that. I think we need to refine that first before you can then export, because it's a very difficult area to export in already. Yeah.
Thank you.
And finally, what you say?
Not yet.
Not yet.
Yeah.
So, Tinashe, because you have 3 no's, you have not made it to the next round. But like I said, you're onto something.
The Eagles are convinced Tinashe still has some homework to do, and for that he goes back home with 3 no's. After having turned down a number of contestants for producing products that have already flooded the market, the Eagles are looking for something new and challenging from the contestants. Will Mufaro give them what they want?
Good morning, judges.
Morning.
My name is Mufaro Ruzive and I'm here representing Vertical Capital. I'm the CEO and Portfolio Manager.
Go ahead.
The problem, the new normal requires an income stream that is uncorrelated to the performance of the general economy, as well as funds that are managed by other financial institutions. For the past 2 years, we witnessed 2 major changes in the form of a rapid depreciation of the Zimbabwean dollar, as well as loss of income from the halt of the operation of the real economy as a result of COVID-19 lockdowns. This has led to poor fund performance in real terms for investment and pension funds in the country. We all know that there are a couple of investment funds that are being run in the country, and according to my research, it shows that they lost a huge value during the past 2 years because of the depreciation of the Zimbabwean dollar. And people also lost the values of their pensions as well as the purchasing power of their money as a result of inflation. So what's the solution? Vertical Capital is an emerging fund manager with a focus on global financial markets. We have developed quantitative investment models that we use to support our decision making when we make investment decisions in order to generate a rate of return that is consistent and uncorrelated to the performance of the economy as a whole, as well as funds that are managed by other financial institutions. So the quantitative models that we have developed, we apply them when we are investing in this fund. We haven't really started though, but it's still a framework that we are working on. We are building a track record, and we're also back testing how the model works. So where does the value come from? We invest in currencies, commodities, equity, and equity index futures. Equity index futures like the ZSE index, there will be futures contracts that are linked to the ZSE index. That's where you invest in. Currencies, we've got currency pairs, GBP, USD, the Swiss franc to the United States dollar. So these are some of the areas where we derive a rate of return. So basically, this is what I'm focusing on with this company. This is my vision. I develop quantitative models, and this is the most recent model that I have developed. Some models I created them, and then after back testing, they didn't perform as much as I wanted. But so far, this is the best model that I've come up with. It is a model that I look to move forward with in creating a system that can that can help Zimbabwe and the region as a whole in creating income that's uncorrelated to the performance of the economy, as well as uncorrelated to the funds that are being managed by other financial institutions in each country. I thank you. Any questions?
I'm Faro.
Yes. Hello.
What platform are you doing that model on?
I'm using Microsoft Excel. I like building models from scratch. I don't like using programmable software or any other things that are predetermined. So I always use Microsoft Excel when I create my model. So I created this one from scratch by seeing how the markets work, and also some prior research that I did, piecing up the information and coming up with an investment model that works like this.
So here you've never really invested any amount.
I haven't invested any amount.
And then on your back test there, you didn't put a graph to show us what your investment decision was versus the back test?
Versus the back test.
Yeah.
As in, I didn't get the question.
You were saying your model was determining the currency movements. We can't see the graph of what your model was doing versus what actually happened.
Here we go again. Thamsanqa is on the rampage. Will Mufaro's brilliant idea sail through today? And can Mufaro defend his product?
You mean as in getting the rate of return of the USD CHF itself?
No,
as a
what you
benchmark?
predicted versus what was actual, simply put.
Oh, okay. These are the actual things that happened.
Yeah, what had your model predicted?
As in trade signal. Unfortunately, I didn't put the actual trade, the buy sell recommendation. I just created a graph that came. But actually, when you're at this point, when you apply the model, right, it generates, say, a buy signal, right? And then when you put a buy recommendation, when you put it onto the system or when you invest via a broker, right, the results then come up, and then the rate of return is then calculated like this. Right? So the rate of return. Yeah, it was the recommendation didn't go in the right direction, but then if you look at the smooth returns, it generally shows that it's an upward trend.
Thamsanqa lets it go, but he doesn't look convinced at all. What does Tatenda have to say?
Mufaro, what's your background?
My background, I'm an actuary by profession, and I also did investment management and financial economics as an honors degree. So by profession, I'm an actuary.
Where did you train for the...
Pardon?
Where did you train?
I was in South Africa. I trained at the University of the Free State in South Africa.
Okay.
Yeah.
How's the competition? Who else is doing this? How unique is this, is your model, as opposed to what other venture capitalists are doing in Zimbabwe?
So far, my research, I tried to look at what's happening in Zimbabwe. I haven't really seen someone who really does something like this on a global perspective, trying to gain value from currencies, commodities, equities, and index futures. Though if you go to advanced economies like, if you go to South Africa, there are some financial institutions that do this. If you go to America is the home of where you find such systems.
There are a lot of people who are doing trading, but what Faro is selling is that he's got a model that shows what almost like predicts.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mufaro, when did you start developing these models?
I started last year. Mm-hmm. Yes. I was employed at a financial institution in Zimbabwe, and then during my probation, they then cut my probation. So after I did that, I realized I've always had a passion for financial markets. I then sat down and started looking at options market. I also have some models that are based on the options market.
In terms of deployment, do you intend starting here or in SA?
I intend starting in Zimbabwe.
Okay.
That's one of my priorities. Actually, if you look at the beginning, it's Zimbabwe centric.
For me, the idea is bright and brilliant, and what is lacking for me is the implementation.
Okay.
You are also not clear how long it took to develop the model.
All right.
Unfortunately, I will say no.
For me, I'm not a financial guru, but it sounds interesting. I think you're passionate about what you're talking about. So for me, it's a yes.
Thank you.
I think it's brilliant. It's very intelligent, it's innovation. As long as you're not stealing anyone's ideas and it's your genuine ideas, you're building from Excel. I think it's a brilliant, it's one of the best things I've seen, and I'm going to give it a big yes.
Thank you.
Yeah. Okay, I think you got 2 yeses, so you're going to go into the next round.
Oh, thank you very much.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
With 2 yeses, it's all over before the third eagle has said anything. While most of us are still trying to figure out what the pitch was all about, Mufaro is through to join the other lucky contestants in the next round.